Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a OTT premium deck profile. I think that the new witch support from B Collection 3 and 4 is really good, has a ton of potential in premium, as it does give you more than 3 attacks, which is always appreciated, and a ton of drive checks so you can better maintain Oracle. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the deck profile. OTT is my favorite clan ever, so if you at least liked one part of the video today, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and or subscribe to the channel, as it does help the channel. So let's first start off with the grade 3s. We have 4 copies of the Yo-Yo. All the witch names are really funny. This card is really good though. If you swing first with your Vanguard, if this is either on the van or if it's in the front row, after your Vanguard swings, you can counterblast 1, discard 2 cards with one of them including a witch, and you re-ride your Vanguard as stand, which generates more protect markers. If you ride over a Yo-Yo too, you have 2 options. You can either keep the Yo-Yo in the soul and generate a extra protect marker, so you would generate 2 protect markers on a re-ride on top of Yo-Yo. Otherwise, you just move it out to the front row and it does cool things. A great card, amazing. They should give OTT more stuff like this more often. We have Zozo. This is the other grade 3 witch I play. This one is on swing. I reveal any number of protect markers, and my front row gets plus 5k for each, which really helps against the forest decks. You need those numbers. So between this and a couple other cards in the deck, it really helps you hit really scary numbers. And yeah, I think that Zozo plus Yo-Yo just is a really consistent grade 3 package. Once you get into V format territory, you get a lot more flexibility and more options with grade 3s, but as far as premium is concerned, there's so many other things you want to play. I feel like Yo-Yo and Zozo is the most consistent. Next, we have Goddess of Sun Amaterasu, broken card. Carries this deck in premium, this plus Ichi or this on a Momo turn if they are heavily denying your Yo-Yo or you're just not drawing well. Just revealing these, getting your crits, and then threatening lethal can be really scary. So we still play this package in here as it wins us games. That is the grade 3s. Going on to the grade 2s, we play 4 copies of the Cobalt Witch Poo Poo, which I think was a promo in JP, and we finally got it as like just a normal impact card. This card's really good as when it rides a grade 1, it generates a protect marker, so you can accelerate your marker generation, which for a deck that wants to reveal protect markers to get power, does a pretty good job. And then this also, on swing, you can reveal any number of sentinels, so not just your protect markers, but if you're playing sentinel crits or draw PGs or just a grade 1 PG, you can reveal those as well, and it gets plus 5 for each, so it gets really big. We play 4 copies of the Jade Witch Tete. So for this card, it's probably one of my favorite grade 2s from the new support. Basically what it is when you discard it and you have a Witch Vanguard, you can Soul Blast 1 card and call it to rear. This basically means that for your Poo Poo skill or your Calico skill or even your Mimi skill in this Stride deck, your G-Zone, becomes a little more free, or even the Yo-Yo cost. So I love this card, great card. 4 of also. For those Sentinel restrict decks, you can, when this is placed on guard circle, you can discard any number of Sentinels, so not just protect markers, and it gets 20k shield for each. So if you happen to fight a guard restrict deck, hopefully this helps you out there. Finally, 2 copies of Topaz Witch PP in the grade 2s. It's a 10k, so it helps you play the grade 2 game against forest decks, really, and also it's an alternative ride, so that way you don't always have to ride this. This is pretty good because it generates you a protect marker, but in matchups like LJ, which I've experienced a little too often, that extra marker generation really doesn't matter in that matchup, so you rather just have the numbers there. So I just like this as the flex spot, but there's a ton of other cards we can play. There will be a timestamp for that in the video if you want to see what's going on with that. In the grade 1s, we play 4 copies of Mumu, and then we play 4 copies of Roro, and that is it. I do not play the grade 3 Searcher, I don't play a 15k shield. You can if you want to, but this just feels just about right. You're really relying on your mid to late game with this deck, so I'm not really looking to add more grade 1s. and when I did, they didn't feel as impactful as some of the grade 2s or some of the grade 3s I could play. Mumu is amazing. If not for Yo-Yo, I'd say this is the best card in the support, as it's Soul Blast. You rest it, you look at top 5, and then you can reveal up to 3 witches from the top 5, and you can add one of them to the hand. If you don't reveal 3, this goes in the soul, otherwise it stays on board, which is pretty good. So you can even loop it, search another one within the deck. I love this card, it's amazing. And then we have Roro, which loops out of the soul when your Vanguard hits. So it just helps on those restand or rewrite turns. Of course, this is OTT Premium. Y'all saw the Amaterasus and the grade 3s, so we play 3 copies of Calico. Cracked card, amazing card. We love this card. I tried 2, I tried 1. You don't see it enough. You can only draw so much. So we play 3. We need to see this. It's a 10k shield, otherwise we can discard it for other things, so it works fine. Next, we're gonna go ahead and get into the triggers. So we play 4 copies of the grade 3 heal because it keeps us from getting rushed. The only reason why we play it. We play 4 copies of the Celeste Witch Toto. So this Stride Fighter is actually considered a witch, so it's searchable through our grade 1. So we can dig for Stride Fighter, which just makes it even more flexible and more amazing, this search card. Amazing, it's crits. Crits are fun. We play 3 Sendel. There is a Overdress crit that is a witch if you want more witch names, but I like the extra 10k you get for Sendel. This combos really well with your Momo, really well with Ichi. That 10k is kind of annoying for a lot of decks to deal with. We play 4 copies of the 30k shields, Crit Sentinels, as I'm just trying to unga bunga my opponent. I don't really think you need to draws, as you usually have 2 to 3 protect markers after your first grade 3 turn, which is more than enough for most matchups. And of course, funny card, OT. I didn't talk about the starter though. It doesn't matter what starter you play, so if you have a fancier one, you could play that, whichever floats your boat. I have the Uzume because I don't get to use this one enough. Next, we're gonna go over the G Zone. So for the G Zone, it's OTT, so it's pretty straightforward, but I figured I'd still go over it for you guys. I'll just center it. So yeah, we got 4 Amaterasus. Sorry about the glare. I just can never get this right. But guard restrict, draws you cards, broken. Sometimes it feels like this is the only offensive stride you need in the deck, but hopefully with Premium Collection in June, which is around my birthday, hopefully this deck can get some more support that's playable. So 4 of those. Amazing card, gotta love it. And then we play a flurry of 2 of, so we have Momo as a 2 of. Momo doesn't really synergize well with Yo-Yo, but what I do like about it is sometimes Momo gives you more value than using the grade 3 Yo-Yo restand. And it's really nice. There's a couple of games where I found that having the second Momo was more important than playing some of the other stuff that was less impactful. This probably still is your second best stride. So we have 2. We play 2 Wakahirumes, which is Deck OT, the card. These are overpriced. I don't know why, but they are. We play 2 of the Kamu Susano, the Dragon Destroyer Battle Deity one. So this is just like, sorry about that. It's basically, I don't have CB and I need to play. It also boosts your columns. You can still do restand stuff with this. And then we have a couple of 1-ofs, and I'll move these out the way. Yeah, some 1-ofs in the form of Mimi. So, it's okay. Mimi is okay. It's not amazing, but it gets the job done. Basically what this card does is you discard a witch from hand and you force your opponent to either take a damage or discard 2 cards. This doesn't win you every game, but especially when you have good games where you have a really strong grade 2 matchup, you're just like really aggressive and you don't get to do Ichi guard restrict on first stride. This is also a pretty good option if you're trying to maximize your play with Yo-Yo rather than with Momo. This can still win you games. It's just not as likely that this is going to win you games over a threat like Momo or Ichi. So we play 1-of. We have the other Susano. This basically is for when you kind of run out of the hand. This happens every once in a while. I almost never go into this, but it is something that you should have in your Stride deck if you have the space and if you have a copy. I like this card sometimes. And then G Guardians, 2 of the Ames, 2 of the Battle Sister. Not much to say here. There's other ones like the Longinus Magus, like Apex or whatever. You could play like stuff like Colburn. I think Dismal also has a lot of potential in this deck as well, as you want to protect your yo-yos and stuff on board because you're trying to maintain Oracle, you're trying to maintain your board presence. I think Dismal could be an interesting one of tech, and there's a lot of like broody cards that I've chosen to play. Like, you probably don't need 2 Momos, you probably don't need 2 Kamu Susanos, but it's convenient to have the option. But if you wanted to try like playing Dismals, if you have like very retire heavy matchups in your local scene, there's just so much you can do with this. Of course, protect 1 only. We only use protect 1 in this household. Have a ton of these. You're going to need a lot. So techs, let's say you don't like a card on my list, have no fear. My other recommendations are here. These are 4 cards that I've found are fairly effective in the list, but as I've been playing this more, they've slowly but surely phased out of my list. This does not mean that I won't play these eventually in the list or I won't try them later. It's just at this moment, they're not really meshing well with me. So first we have Scarlet Witch Coco. If you're worried that 8 grade 3s is not enough, you can always up the count by using Coco, as this is your next best witch. It's just because you pretty much always want to stride. I don't feel like the grade 3s and witches, while they're pretty good, they don't warrant you not striding. Like, most of the time, you're gonna get more value out of striding in the Mimi or Ichi or Susano or the Momo. Yeah. So you don't usually get its effect off. But with that being said, that's okay. Like, it's still good. Especially having the spare grade 3s is also nice. We have Nini here, so the thing about this card is it functions really well with this and some other stuff. I feel like this is better for witches and V rather than it is for premium. But if you don't like the 10k, you can always go with this, as it's also pretty good and it does stack your deck, so, and generates you soul, so it's not a bad card. I like this one almost as much as I like my 10k choice. But yeah, Tom, I don't think I need to say anything. It's Amaterasu with Ichi and Calico. You put Tom on one of your columns and now it's extremely threatening. Otherwise your opponent can still grab with normal units, which is no fun. Grade 1 PGs will make you cry, but not bad. It's just you want more witch names. There were a lot of games when I was playing Tom where I was whiffing cards and some of my witch counts just weren't what I wanted it to be, especially when you're trying to put in 3 Calico. Now if you're not playing 3 Calico, I think there's a lot more space for Tom, but because we're playing 3 Calico to make sure that we can hit Calico on our first stride, you just don't have the space to play like more than 2 of these, which I just don't know. And then of course Zaza. This is searchable by the grade 1, so you can search this out, which is really nice. Otherwise you could not play it. Also, this is a draw discard, so even if you do have to write this, it's not terrible, as you do filter and dig through your deck, which is what you want to do. So those are the techs. Let me know if you guys have any other techs or alternative options that you're playing in your Witch Premium deck, as I think there's a ton of ways to, there's not a ton of ways, but we'll have to see how the meta progresses with this deck and if it can like find a spot in the meta. That is the deck profile, guys. So with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and or subscribe. I know, double chill, who is this guy? Yeah, like, comment, and or subscribe if you at least enjoyed one part of the video today. This is Good Code and TCG signing off.